Hello everybody, welcome to the Habis.ch YouTube channel, Peter Gould speaking. As I always say, because it's always the case. Okay, it's that time of the year again, or one of those times of the year where we have to vote. And we have three national laws or referendums or things. Yes, I explained the whole thing with referendum and initiative and things like that before. In two cases it is a law which was agreed on by the parliament, but a group big enough wants the people to decide or it, and one is from a group from the people who want to change the constitution. So the first is which would go into the constitution, but just because it can't go into the law, there is no way to make a law by the people, but there is a way to change the constitution by the people. And that one is mostly targeted to outlaw niqab and things like that, for which is mostly clothing from Islamic women to cover the whole face and everything. And it's always that discussion: should we define how women have to be clothed? Some say yes in this particular case, others say no in no case, never. And it's also, all those laws are a bit complicated. They outlaw other ways of hide your face too. And then there is the discussion: can you do some cosplay in the public now, or would this be outlawed too? Some say yes, others say no, others say what is cosplay? Yeah. Anyway, it works that way. We have the change of the constitution, and we have a law government made when this initiative got started. They decided to say, if it is a no, we will set a law in action which kind of does what the initiative wants, but in a way which is more compatible to the general law system. Kind of like this. And so we will have something in this area anyway now. It's just the question, will it be the pretty hard thing from the conservative side, or the more compromise thing from the government, or from the parliament, actually, as far as I know. So then the second is a law about electronic identification. So you kind of get a passport in the internet, and it was a law agreed upon by the parliament and the government, but challenged by a group of people. And the main arguments against it are, as far as I know, that the problem is The private companies will issue this electronic document. The government will check all the data and then tell the private company it's okay, you can issue the document. But the document, after all, and also all the data and details are held by private companies meeting certain requirements. So in theory we could get our electronic passport, don't forget the quotes, because it's a discussion if this will be an actual passport or identity card, or if this will just be some low-level identification for internet use. This is one of the points which is not clear or which is discussed, which people do not agree upon. Anyway, this thing will be kind of issued by companies like Google, Facebook. Of course, it's now said only Swiss companies will issue those, but any company meeting the requirements could do it. So we could actually be identified by Tencent, Huawei, Apple, whatever, as long as they agree to some contracts. And this is kind of the main point where people do not agree. Some say it's okay to do it with private companies, and some say private companies can only finance the whole work if they sell our data. And then the lawmakers say they are not allowed to sell your data. And others say they will sell it anyway, they will transfer it to everywhere in the world somewhere, and oops, they are sold and nobody knows why. And some simply say it's any identification card have to be issued by the government and never ever by a private company, and so on. So this is the discussion going on. But I think it's generally agreed that some kind of electronic document, identification document, is needed and okay for the future. I don't think this is the question. It's just a question who is issuing it, because we already have de facto identification cards in the internet by private issuers. The mentioned ones, you can log in with your Google, Apple, Facebook, Twitter accounts nearly everywhere in the world, and they actually identify you. So they already do it. They just don't do it officially. And yeah, that's the discussion, if they should kind of do it officially now, or if the official document should be issued by the government all the time. And the third is a free trade treaty between Switzerland and Indonesia. There the main issue, the main discussion point is the palm oil. Because some say we already have some parts in this treaty which define that the palm oil should be sustainable. Otherwise it will not be duty-free. And others say it's nice you wrote it in there, but it does not work the way you did it. That's kind of the point, because... And then there is other discussions like Indonesia is so much poorer than Switzerland, any treaty can't be equal. That's more basic, but the main discussion is about the palm oil thing, about the sustainability of the palm oil from Indonesia. And I see kind of both sides, because one side says this is the first international trade agreement which actually does include some sustainability rules for palm oil. So kind of every palm oil we already have is not sustainable or just on paper sustainable. And the others say, yeah, it's nice you introduced it, but you did it the way it does not work, which may be true too. Now I have to decide to say yes or no. Yeah. That's my job as a citizen of Switzerland. Now I have to read this stuff, and until the 7th of March, which is pretty soon, so I should start reading now, and then I have to decide. I have to vote, and then we will see what happens. 4 times a year, as that's how it works here. That's why we always discuss some political stuff, because we have to decide every 3 months. And sometimes it does actually have some impact. I think often it's just stupid stuff, and you think, why couldn't the guys in the parliament just decide? But sometimes, I think this is one of the times where it has some impact, the decision, and it's kind of a good thing they ask the people, even though I know the people are not so tech savvy, so we will see what happens with the electronic identity card. Probably people just say yes because they don't care. But, well, then it's that way. And the thing with Indonesia will be more important for Indonesians than for Swiss. We are rich, we will stay rich, at least for the next 50 years, I guess. At least comparably rich. For Indonesia, it's a question, is it a good deal or a bad deal? But I have no idea if somebody asked the Indonesian people about it. But yeah, so it's kind of a decision, also keeping in mind what is good for Indonesian people, not just for me. Because actually, for me personally, it's not a big deal. But it's probably a big deal for Indonesia. So I have to consider this too. Yeah, that's it for now. Interesting 7th of March. Not changing the fate of the planet, but yeah, something worth to think about before you cast your vote. Thank you for watching my videos, and thank you for subscribing if you want to. If you want to get notified about new videos, you know already you have to click the bell icon and set it to all notifications, because otherwise you will not get any notifications. At least I have many subscriptions with set notifications to standard, and I have never ever gotten any notification about one of those channels. So I guess standard means pretty much off. So if you made it through here, thank you very much, and I appreciate it. Have a great day. Bye.